thank you for joining our webinar today, Clearview Analytics and how to understand and anticipate revenue shifts for your jurisdiction. We are so excited so many of our customers could join us today. I really think you're going to find this beneficial. We have a great agenda set for you, and we will be covering how you can get an economic overview for your jurisdiction, see your top taxpayers, see how your city is performing versus the state, view a budget comparison, and at the end we'll have a Q&A session. But please don't think you have to wait till the end to ask your questions. We would be happy to answer them along the way. Just use the chat feature in WebEx, and we will, I will stop Irene, who I'll introduce in a moment, and ask the questions along the way. And now for introductions. Today, Irene Reynolds, our Client Relations Manager, will be providing the demo. Irene has almost 20 years of experience with Avenue and manages the Client Relations Unit. Irene's team provides critical and complex analytics, forecasting, and reporting. She and her team clean and standardize raw sales tax data, create and maintain geo areas, as well as provide custom reports, charts, tables, and ad hoc reports on demand. Before joining the client relations team, she served as a team leader in data intelligence department, where she helps direct data processing for all of Avenue's clients. And my name is Corinne Aycock. I'm on Avenue's marketing team and happy to serve as your moderator today. So with that, let's get started. I'm going to switch the keys over here to Irene. And that's one of the things when we're all working from home these days, it just takes a moment to switch gears here.
Good morning, everyone. This is Irene Reynolds, and I thank you for joining our webinar today, and taking some time out of your day to be with us and to have a little bit of training about our Clearview Stars application. So with that, we're just going to start off at the landing page. Today, we are using a sample set of data, so it's non-confidential, so we can go through this. Each of these tabs you can click, or these tiles you can click into, and it'll open a separate tab, as you can see on the top here. We thought this would help you rather than having to use your back button each time you wanted to go into a different dashboard. So you're able to click through the different dashboards once you open them, just like this. And you can always go back to your landing page. So we're going to start out with letting you know what the landing page is telling. It's telling a little story of the current quarter versus the same quarter of the previous year. So using the sample data, we can see that this jurisdiction is up 8.3%. Again, we are comparing current quarter over prior quarter. Previous year. And then you can also go down diagonally and look at your top performers and the dollar amount. So this is the top 25. So you know that this is the amount that's coming from your top 25 revenue generators. Also here we can look at the budget, and this is looking at your revenue numbers against the budget, and this you will have an opportunity to provide us with your budget numbers and submit that through your CSM, your Client Success Manager, or email me at irene.reynolds@avenueinsights.com. We also have this tile here, and this is your jurisdiction, or the sample jurisdiction versus the state, and to see how they're doing. Yes, it looks like a large decline, but it is comparing to the state, and it is a sample set. So let's go on into the first dashboard. We're going to look at the economic overview. So I'd click on it. This tab would appear on your internet browser. So we're going to go over the filters first. Up here in the red, you see filters. If you click on it, you have a timeline that you can change. So noticing before we have 2017 quarter 1 through 18/1, I'm going to click on my filter and drag this over. You can see in the left-hand corner of the timeline, you can see the dates are starting to change. And I'm going to take this to quarter 1 of 19. At this time, too, you can actually filter certain categories or segments that you want to see. If you don't, this first chart is just citywide. It's citywide information. So you have your blue line, which is your sales tax, your Bradley 1%. And then this red is a trending line to see how your jurisdiction is doing. Off to the left, you'll see the current revenue, and then the prior quarter the same quarter prior year, and the revenue, the difference of that, the dollar difference, and the percent change. Anytime that you see a border around a chart, if you hover in the left-hand corner, you will see this quick switch. If you hover over the little grid here, and you notice it pops up and says View Grid, you can change that chart to tabular data. If you click on the down arrow, you'll notice that you can export to PDF or you can export to Excel. And you can just click back, see it now says View Graph, and it'll change it back to a chart. Scrolling down, this is an important item to remember when you're on a dashboard. Make sure that you scroll down a little bit and see if there's anything underneath. Most people stop as soon as the dashboard comes up and they don't realize that there's more information down below. Again, you have a border, you have a quick switch here. So you can go from chart to tabular. Again, there's the down arrow for exporting to PDF or Excel, and you have the filter again, and you have the timeline. We carry the filter down the page should you want to discover how certain categories are doing. Let's look at some retail trade, administrative, and support, and notice here also that the segments do change along with whatever you select over here in the categories. Once you click off the page, you'll see that the chart changed and the legend has also changed to what you have selected in the filter. Doing a quick switch.
Irene, we have a question. Can we produce accurate sales tax records for shopping malls and specific neighborhoods?
Yes, and we'll get to that. That is in our geo areas. If you already have a geo area established with us, that will be in the geo area section or dashboard, and it's right here. It's Geo Maps, and then we also have another tab that we added, which says Geo Reports. So you can also do that. But if I go down further on this Economic Overview tab, if you go down further, you can go to Detail. And because this is non-confidential, these would be your citywide businesses here. And you can export this into Excel if you wanted to.
And I'm assuming that we don't have a bunch of companies called Acme, correct?
You're correct. So this would be your Target, your Walmart, you know, Smart and Finals, Home Depots, such things would be populated here instead. You're correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So as we were talking earlier, we were talking about the category trends. We also have the segment trends. These are all the segments that fall into what you have selected up above. Again, the filter is off to the right, and you're able to change that as well. I'll go back to show everything. So we have all here. And just clicking anywhere on the screen takes that away. Again, you have your quick switch from a graph or a chart, and then you can take it to tabular. You also have this gray scroll bar to take you off to the side to see all the other segments. Most people will choose to export this into Excel and, filter as much as they want and slice and dice the data. So we'll go back down to the citywide data again. As I was saying, this would have your taxpayers. So again, your Targets, your Walmart, Home Depot would be here in your own jurisdiction data. You also have this filter here and select the quarter you want to look at. So we can look at 19.1, it would change. 18.4, dollars would change. We have the current, the prior, the dollar difference, and the percent change here. We also have where we can look at the top 15, and it provides you a chart. And so this is your top 15 sales tax generators within your city. Again, you have the quick switch. You can change this to tabular. You can change this back to a chart, and you can export. So you always have the option to export to Excel or PDF anytime you see this border around the charts. Again, and the filter once again. Okay. Back to the landing page, we get a lot of requests from our clients about the top taxpayers. So I will click on this tile and come up to here. And you do have this available to you. You have a filter as well. It goes up to top 25, so you can decrease if you need to. If you need a top 15, I can get it to 15. It'll change automatically for you. You can export. You can do the quick switch on each of these as well. We also have a trend, so we can know are they up or are they down. So this is a quick site for you to know how the taxpayer is doing. Again, we have current dollars, prior, the difference, and the dollar or the percent change here.
And the percent change is over what period of time?
It will be the current quarter versus the same quarter prior year. That will be your percent change. You're welcome. The next would be your key comparison. So this is the jurisdiction versus the state. So in this sample set, we only have 2. So I will end up typing sample and hit enter, and we'll notice we'll have Sample City East. So it's going to compare only these 2 jurisdictions that are in this data set. But in California, a lot of jurisdictions want to see how their neighboring cities are doing compared to them. So this is non-confidential cache data that is provided to us from the CDTFA. So you can end up entering your neighboring jurisdictions, and the chart would populate. Again, you can quick switch, and you can export this, or you could leave it as a chart for yourself and do comparisons. You have a timeline as well here, so you can extend it if we wanted to extend out to 19.1, and you'll see that the chart then gets a little bit larger. It has more data available. And then down below we have the percent of volatility here. You also be able to do a quick switch if you wanted to as well, and export. Off the landing page, the next one will be the budget. So we have some clients that are taking advantage of this feature. And this feature, we enter your budget numbers that are provided from the city, and we then do a chart saying what is your revenue and the current budget here. And then it'll show you your trend lines and how you're doing in comparison. You also have your quick switch again. You can export as always. We do see the gray border once again. You have filters that you can choose to select how do you want to see, the construction, or if you want to see how real estate or retail's doing, and compare that to budget as well. Down below, though, you have a quick visual for you to look at and say this is revenue, the current revenue, your current budget, and what has been submitted by the city, and then the dollar difference and the percent change. So this is going to give you just a quick glance. How are we doing as a city? Are we on track? If not, then, you know, what do we need to do? Do we need to adjust our budget? I know that would take a lot of work for a city to do. Or, you know, what is going on with the economy? You know, do we need to maybe possibly go visit some of our businesses and find out how they're doing? So this can give you just a quick little review there. And then you have the category breakdown. So if you hover over any of these dots, you'll see the category name and you'll see the percent change and the revenue that's associated with it. So you can go around and look, or you can change it and it'll be provided here instead. We also have another breakdown to go. Yes.
Is it available? Can you see that in a bar graph or a line graph? Is it just the scatter dots? Is there another?
It's just the, yeah, no, it's just the scattered dots for this one. And also for the segment revenue here. So if someone is desiring a bar graph, they could change this to tabular and then export it to Excel and then make a line graph or a bar graph if they'd like. They do have the option to. It is a true Excel export.
Super.
Okay. And again, we have the segment down below as well. Same information. If you hover over, you can see your segment in the revenue and the percent change here as well. Okay. Further down, you'll have some taxpayer detail to also look at here. So we provide this in several different dashboards, so you don't have to go back to a previous dashboard if you were reviewing. We find that most people would like to say, let me see my taxpayer detail and not have to remember where necessarily it is. So we provide it in several different dashboards for convenience. Again, available to export it if you'd like. The next we have here is the taxpayer search. If you click on the red, you'll be able to look by economic or cash. I'm going to select economic. I'm going to let that load and then go on to the Geo Maps. Oh, it's ready. Sorry. I'll take that back. We'll go over to the taxpayer search. So here you would be able to enter a taxpayer name or on this side an address, or even the sales tax account or permit number here. And it would, as soon as it entered, you would click in here. I'm just going to select something that's down below.
And Irene, we have a question. Can you explain the difference between economic versus cash?
Yes, I can. So the easiest way for me to explain it, I always tell people, if I have $5 and I give you $5 today, that is considered cash. Now, if I give you the $5 and I tell you this $5 was for me that I was supposed to pay you a quarter ago, that would be economic. The dollars would then be allocated to that quarter. It would show up in a cash report as being provided to you today, but if you looked at an economic report, it would then show that it was allocated to the specific quarter that I should have paid you. Does that help?
All right. Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So here, we looked up ACME _02271 and notice that it is displayed up on top. It gives an address and it gives the history here. We can, again, select the timeline and go out for more history. We are able to change it into a tabular. We can export. So many people will say, I want to look at, Home Depot, I want to look at Target, or I want to look, at Walmart, and they specifically just want to look at that. They can use a taxpayer search. Okay. Going on to Geo Maps. So we have Geo Reports and we have Geo Maps. This being displayed here would be something that you would see if you only had Geo Reports in your available to you, and you could select when you had the tabular data if you wanted to see all of the categories and segments, and it would populate all the way down, or as it was defaulted, you can just look at accommodations and see the revenue associated. And it also has revenue, it has a percent change, you have your quarters on the top here. Your geo name would be off to the side as well, so you would know what geo you could select. If we're looking at the mapping, let it populate. We have two types of mapping. So we have what we call a legacy geo area, and this was a geo area that we used to use address ranges. And if you have geo areas that are older and you have not submitted a shapefile for, and you're in the Geo Maps, it will look like this. It will not have a shaded area. If you have newer geo areas and submitted a shapefile, the actual area will be highlighted either in pink or yellow, and then you would know this is the shapefile that was submitted, and this is the study area, also with the name that the city has asked for us to name it as. And that would be displayed here. One very important item to share is if you want to scroll sideways or up and down and move this map, you need to change it to presentation mode. And I clicked too early. So here is this red button here, and if you hover, it does say presentation mode. If you click on it, then you can scroll the map over. And excuse me, if you don't do that prior, the map will actually be undocked. So we get some calls sometimes and going, I messed up my map, and we're like, no, it's okay. Go ahead and close it, reopen, and remember to go into presentation mode. So this is very important to make sure that you do make sure you're in presentation mode. Again, you have the option to select quarters off to the side here, and you'll notice when you are not in presentation mode, it switches where the data selections are. So when you're not, it's off to the left, and when you have selected presentation, it's off to the right. You can so that's how you know which one you're in as well. It's a little key. You can select, several quarters that you want to look at, and pick the categories that you want to review as well. And you'll see as it changes here, you'll get more points on the map. You're also able to export this information as well. Did you have a question?
Yeah, somebody would like to know, can you also pull up the information based on an address, like just an address?
In the maps, no, we don't have that option.
Okay.
To view here, yeah, we don't have that option, sorry. So that is our Geo Maps. Again, you do have tabular information in the Geo Reports section. The next off the landing page and the last is the forecast scenario. Our California clients also get a forecast that my department works on, and we have a quick little tool here Some use it, some don't. A lot of people do like our forecast that we provide because we are looking at, individual categories and segments and making business adjustments from the information that's provided to us from our auditing group or information that's provided to us from our clients. Something's coming to their city or they know a business is leaving. So we put that information into our hard copy forecasting. But some would just like to use this and go into this forecast scenario. So let me give you some background about this. It's also called Predictive Analytics. If you've ever heard anyone mention Predictive Analytics, it's the same as a forecast scenario in Clearview. We use the Champion-Cheller model. That means using 4 different statistical methods, and the method uses the best one that matches the past behavior. So it's looking at your past history here. And then the blue line here, this is the city's mean. And then the dotted lines, as you can see here, they're called confidence bands. So this is 80% confidence that your revenue would fall in between these bands or on the outside of 95, that the revenue, the sales tax revenue would fall in between these bands of 95%. So we also have an adjustment that can be done, and you can select where you can change the timeline first, if you'd like. You can then say, like retail, my retail's going down. I'm going to take away, let's just say, 700,000. And then we're like, oh, our restaurants are not doing so well as well, so let's take that down. Let's go about 400,000. But wholesalers are still increasing. And let's say that manufacturing, we have a manufacturing company that's come in and we're thinking it's going to be about $1 million. You click apply. You notice your selection would be down here, so you don't have to remember it's populated here for you. We change the graph a little bit for you according to your changes. If you want to change it again, you absolutely can. You can say reset, go back to the original, and it will. And this time, I'm going to say something's going to be taken away only. And I'm going to click apply, and you'll see it changed again. And it shows down here what my change was in dollars. So this could be a quick tool for someone that is just looking to see what if scenarios. This time right now with COVID, we have a lot of what if scenarios. We all want, life to go back to the normal or the new normal. So we're having clients go in here now and utilize this, or they are reaching out to their client service manager for assistance with forecasting.
Irene, that's a great point. And we actually have a client who recently was able to take a look at this, reach out to the top businesses in their area and figure out what, clearly many were going down, but groceries were going up enough that they were able to predict that next month they were only down 3%, which was not as bleak of a picture as they were thinking it could be. So these are great tools.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So that is our conclusion of our quick overview of the Clearview application. I want to extend an invitation if you would like to look at your own data and have me and your client service manager or your client success manager on a call with you. We always provide one-on-one training. It's always available, and we just schedule an appointment and we go over, and you have questions particularly to your data. We're happy to help you with getting more familiar with Clearview.
Great, thank you so much. And does anybody now have any questions? Any other questions for us? And give everyone a moment. Yep, we do have, let's see. What are the submittal requirements for our budget numbers to be uploaded in Clearview?
Good question. And I am prepared for a question like that. So here I have made a quick Excel spreadsheet, which will go over the fiscal year, the calendar year, and then your budget number. If anyone would like that budget number to be entered into Clearview, submitting this type of Excel spreadsheet with the information, send it to your client success manager, or even to myself, irene.reynolds@avenueinsights.com, and I will send it off to our development team, and they will upload it, and then I would let you know when it's available for your review.
All right, thank you. And
You're
then
welcome.
we have, can adjustment ranges be adjusted to scale for jurisdictions with large receipts?
Can you repeat that again?
Sure thing. Can adjustment ranges be made to scale for jurisdictions with large receipts, either by percentage or different dollar amounts?
Are you referencing a geo area, or are you referencing a city as a whole?
I'm waiting for them to reply.
No problem.
It says predictive model is capped at $1 million.
Yes, currently it is at $1 million. We were not expecting COVID to happen.
All right. So I don't know if that answers the previous. It was the same person who. Oh, so can that $1 million caps be changed?
I can check on that with our development team, if they can change that cap and how easily it is.
All right.
Do you have a suggested amount that we should move it up to?
The answer is not yet.
Okay. Okay, I will still ask.
All right. And give everyone one more moment. Any other questions? All right. That looks like it's it. And so thank you everyone so much for joining us today. We hope that you, your families, your constituents, and your staff remain safe during this time. Please reach out to us if you have any questions or want to learn more about the predictive analytics or anything about Clearview Analytics, and if Avenue can help you in any way. Stay safe, everyone, and thank you.